Today we're going to be talking about 12 players who are rising up boards, fluttering around the boards, recent news, but we are seeing things from training camp that might be impacting their draft stock or allow you to get deals on some of these players. In your drafts coming up, we got to talk about it. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these players every day. We're talking about draft strategies every day to get you ready for your redraft league. We're talking about Dynasty every day. We're looking at training camp clips every day. It's all free. Click that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, because when waiver wire season happens, I'm going to be here for you for those deep stashes that everybody's too scared to talk about. But let's get this started. I haven't talked about this player for a bit, and I think I've only talked about him in a Dynasty stance. But Jordan Addison. I know we had the recent legal issue here, and I know his ADP has been dropping since then. Wide receiver 47, round 7 price tag. That means to me in ADP that 46 wide receivers have went off the board. He's being valued as like a wide receiver 5, kind of like a flex spot that you're moving in and out of your lineup. That's what the market's saying. And the big question here is with the quarterbacks and the pace of play, because the Vikings like to operate like top 5 to 3 in the league in pace of play. They like to run it fast. Can they do it with these quarterbacks? Either one of them. Sam Darnold looks like he's going to be the guy to start the season. We shall see come training camp. Jordan Addison got Kenny Pickett drafted in the first round. Nobody better forget about that. He's that good. And during his rookie season, during the quarterback hiccups and the injuries, on top of that, with Justin Jefferson in and out, we were able to get some production, 13 points per game, 2 wide receiver 1 week. You'll see that in the chart below me right there. We do have some potential here. And the market's saying, hey, I don't know about these legal issues. I don't know about these quarterbacks. So you're catching a second-year player, former rookie, at a good reduced cost right now. That could go off. Jordan Addison could be that player for you, especially if this team can be as fast-paced as it has been in previous years. Amari Cooper, wide receiver 28, round 4 draft capital. He had a 50-point game last year. Week 16, averaged 15.1 points per game. Up until week 16, 15.4. 8.5 targets per game. There are a lot of people predicting the offense to be faster, more efficient this year. We'll see in the passing game. But round 4 draft capital seems kind of high considering what else is on the board. But in basic redraft leagues, I expect them to be cheaper, more like round 5 to 6 range, because the running backs will push up the board a little bit more compared to Underdog Fantasy. At that price range, if you can catch him around 5, 6-ish range, if cheaper, good on you. But 23% target share, he'll be around there when he's healthy on the field. 40% share of the air yards. He's getting deep targets as well. 14.2 average depth of target. So you're getting deep targets and a good share of the passing game. Even with Jerry Jeudy there, I see him still having the potential to be productive in this offense. And now he's in a tier where the wide receivers are winding down. He's a little bit more stable. He will get you some down games, but he's a guy who plays through injuries. And you may not like that. He's a guy who plays through injuries, but he's a tough, hard-nosed wide receiver, and that's why he's been so productive and reliable over the course of time. Khalil Herbert, RB57, round 16. Don't forget about him. Good size-adjusted athleticism here. Swift has a tremendous injury history. You may look at last year and be like, oh, that's awesome for Swift at the Eagles. But the reason why the Eagles were able to get him so cheap was Swift was banged up a lot during the start of his career. That might be different now, but that's something to keep an eye on. And if Herbert's on the field on this team with the weapons they've added, could be faster-paced offense here. He could be able to light it up at a reduced cost, and you might be picking him up off waivers down the road later this season. Jalen McMillan, I've had some requests to talk about him. A great route runner, good speed, good size to him at 6'1", 197. And the rumor is, it was news, but I'm going to call it a rumor until it's actually true. Godwin's going to go more in the slot. And when Godwin's more in the slot, he's in the slot around 70 to 75% of the time in prior years. Jalen McMillan, probably going to be the guy on the outside. He got 3rd round draft capital. Very smooth technician. Should develop rapidly to the NFL game. He should be on the field seeing snaps. You're seeing him at wide receiver 82. So if you're looking for a rookie flyer off waivers or for your last pick, this could be your guy because we know Tampa Bay is a pass funnel offense. They'll push it downfield. Baker Mayfield's aggressive. Jalen McMillan has the skill set to command a deep A dot and be productive in the short to intermediate part of the field. He has that skill set, so he could be a good wild card if you're looking for a Puka Nacua. Diontae Johnson, wide receiver 44, and we're talking about him again because Canal's been talking about the offense. I think it's going to be a faster-paced offense. I look for him to get some of them Adam Thielen targets that we saw in the start of the year, where an Adam Thielen was a kind of a force first 6 weeks of the season. I look for him to at least give you that 11.7 points per game there. At least. I look for him to give you a 20+% target share. And at round 7, wide receiver 44, and he got a 23.4% target share last year with the Steelers, 12.8 ADOT. You're paying round 4 price tag for that with Amari Cooper. You're catching this cheaper at a reduced cost. That workload in round 7. Aaron Jones, round 19, round 7 draft capital, and I think he's going to get some looks because of the quarterbacks here. I think he's going to get some opportunity. I think he's going to be used a lot in the passing game, getting some checkdowns. He's good in the passing game. He's going to help this offense catch fire in some games. This team's going to be in some shootouts as they got a pass funnel defense historically. Aaron Jones, RB19, round 7 draft capital, a good price tag. If you're looking for an RB2, if you want to hear RB, and now you're looking for running backs around 6, 7, 8, 9, this could be your guy. Quentin Johnston. So Harbaugh talked about him as he was getting a bad rap in the media yesterday. He burnt Harbaugh in the bowl game. Remember that part. Johnston had some moments last year, and he also had some bloopers last year as well. Wide receiver 69 to market, first round pick. During the course of time at TCU, he did have some moments. Also, Ladd McConkey's there. They drafted Ladd McConkey for a reason. They said, hey, we need more talent at the wide receiver position with that draft pick. Ladd McConkey, 4.3 speed. Ladd McConkey is probably stepping in as one of the top route runners in the league already. You also got Palmer. You're also looking at a team that's potentially going to have a slower paced offense. They drafted a running back, got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They're showing their hand with that. But when you look at price tag, if you want to take a flyer with one of your last picks at a wide receiver, you got a former first-round pick who will probably get pushed downfield, play the boundary. And that's probably what they're going to do with him, so he might have some splash games. I think he's more optimal probably for best ball, and you're probably not going to know when to start him. And he'll probably have a game or two where he flashes, and then you'll see nothing out of him at all. That's probably what's going to happen. He'll probably flash for a game or two this year, and then he's gone. That's probably what's going to happen with Quentin Johnston. Javonte Williams. I got more news. We talk about Javonte Williams every day. Hot button issue, but if I hear something, I'm going to say it. So, news going into training camp. Fighting for a starting job. Might get cut between him and Samaje Perine. Then I listened to the Denver podcast, which is a podcast affiliated with the Broncos, which I think is, maybe not, but they said he's clear-cut starter. That's what they said. They could be wrong. I take that with a grain of salt. I know how good Audrey Estime is, and I know how injuries could impact players, and I know running backs get injured because it's the hurt business, but they're saying, hey, this guy could be the starter, or should be the starter, or will be the starter. You're looking at round 10 draft capital. We know this offense is probably going to be slower. Looking down here in the chart here, looking at the production, say we get steady Eddie on the middle of the road games. 12 points, 10 points, 10 points, 12. A couple upsides here and there, not as many downs. Say we got something similar the last year, 11 points per game. Are you going to like that? It says 21 there, but the chart says 11. Must be a blip. Are you going to like that? Are you going to want that? You're going to want 11 points per game at round 10 draft capital. You can possibly play the matchups with that. Be RB2 if you went superhero RB or something, or if you went double hero, and now you're starting to look running back again. At least you know, maybe, you'll know at the end of training camp if he's going to be getting that workload. And if that's happening, there's potential for production. Keon Coleman, wide receiver 47, not 77, round 7 draft capital, is a player to pay attention to. He's making plays already in camp. Even though they're layups, he's making plays. Him and Josh Allen are gelling, and could be that rookie that gets pushed into production due to the offense. Jameson Williams had a splash play, I think yesterday or the day before. It was a deep ball attempt. And I've been saying this the whole time. This guy's got the Will Fuller effect. And what's going to happen with him, we're already going to see this in the offense. Because between Sam Laporta and between Amon-Ra St. Brown, those guys together are going to take half the targets. 50+% target share between those two pass catchers. Which means there's also going to be targets going to Jahmyr Gibbs because he's good in the passing game. Now, you're looking at, what, 40 to 35% of the targets left for the other wide receivers. So thinking it that way, Jameson Williams, his deep ball attempts could allow him to splash on you from game to game. He's going to give you a good game here, and then nothing, a good game here, nothing. I'll probably give you like 4 of those. You're not going to know when it happens, but you're probably going to want that if he's like your wide receiver 5 or something like that, and you play the matchups. And that's if he taps in, because he hasn't been tapping in. There's some risk here, and you may not want an asset like that. He could finish the season with a very good points per game, but it's 4 wide receiver 1 weeks and a lot of nothing, and maybe a couple wide receiver 2 weeks sprinkled in. Do you want that type of asset? You get the asset classes you want. Davante Adams, round 2 draft capital here. Wide receiver 14 off the board. We're in round 2, 14 wide receivers off the board. Underdog is some wide receiver fiends. So I look for him to be a little bit cheaper in traditional redraft, possibly fluttering into the 3rd round. But we look at these workload metrics. A 33% target share, 116 air yards per game, or 31 years old. The price gets cheaper, the better he gets. That's what we're going to have to say about this. The deeper he falls in your draft, the more you're going to have to hit that button. It is kind of ambiguous with the quarterback situation, with them battling out. I like O'Connell. I liked him as a rookie. I liked him as a draft prospect. But Davante Adams getting a 33% target share, 116 air yards. How much longer can that happen? But we've been saying that for some time. But if the price keeps getting cheaper, and it will get cheaper in traditional redrafts, in your basic redraft leagues at home, 3rd round draft capital probably is what I'm guessing, because the running backs will get bumped up a bit. Davante Adams, when you got him in the mix with the guys like DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, put him around there, you might like him a little bit more. Isaac Guerendo, watch him. Watch him in training camp. Look at his size and just athleticism. Elijah Mitchell's been hurt off and on throughout his career. And also, he had a good start to his career, but hasn't been lighting it up lately. Watch him. Just watch him. See if he steals that RB2 role. If not, then cool off. Because if he does, you may want him as a stash. Because if Christian McCaffrey goes down, he's going to have a lot of upside with that speed, with that size, and could be a good pounder between the tackles. And they've got experience with Christian McCaffrey out. They didn't like it, so they brought in Guerendo here on the cheap to see if he can be a difference maker. Those are 12 players that could be seeing an impact in training camp, or seeing a value spike here soon, or fluttering up and down the ranks that we're looking at today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.